If I may have your attention, we will begin our meeting. This is Thursday, September 18th, 2025. Board of Education, Tahlequah, Oklahoma Public Schools. And I think we can record that all members are present. About 3 or 4 of us, about half sick, but not with things that you can catch. Mine deals with age. And then we have a couple of members from which school is this?
The middle school.
Middle school, who are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Dr. Kaufman is going to introduce them.
All right, first up we have Ava Davis. She's in 8th grade. Her parents are Nicholas and Haley Davis. Ava is an outstanding student at TMS. She plans to attend University of Oklahoma. Boomer. Her favorite subject in school is science. Ava's hobbies include kayaking on the river with her family and friends and dance, especially when she was selected to dance in New York City. Yes. Second up, stranger to me, Mason Naylor, 8th grade. Parents are Mike and Michelle Naylor. Mason's hobbies and interests, he's an excellent student leader at TMS who plans to attend University of Oklahoma. Boomer. I will be going there soon. His favorite subjects in school are math and English. Mason's hobbies include golfing, fishing, basketball, and playing video games with friends. And he loves his Nani very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And of course, Mr. Seifert is there.
Yes.
Yes, he's in the line every day.
I'll try to stay out of it. You're good. No, this is the one now. That's the one.
I know I do.
You gotta stick right here. You get out of here.
Yeah, you gotta be able to work out.
Bye, thank you all.
Bye.
Well, I was interested in the fact that English was my favorite.
Miss Walker, when I was talking, I knew you would say that. I was like, I know she's gonna comment about the English.
That's rare,
Yeah.
so made me happy. Item B, Tigers Roar. Are you going to be the roar?
Yes, it is a simple message, but not. As you guys know, we did something historic on September 9th, and we passed the largest bond, I believe, in the history of Tahlequah Public Schools. And just wanted to publicly thank everyone again. We had some champions for sure to get this passed. The Tahlequah Area Chamber of Commerce came out originally, and we know Nathan Reed visited the last couple board meetings to come and be able to say the person to say vote yes, because we had to ask people to vote, but we couldn't tell them how to vote. And they were a resounding yes out on social media and everywhere they spoke. Also the city of Tahlequah, the Tahlequah Sports League, the Tahlequah Youth Football and Cheer, all designs, did the signs for us. We bought the signs and I asked for a quote for stickers and she said, how about I just make those stickers for all of your elementary kids? So those were all donated by All Designs. I think of, just so many other businesses and parents and the Tahlequah Daily Press putting good information out about the bond. There were people that said, that wanted to say, if you will just go vote and you can get a X. And so they were excited about getting people to vote. And that helped us because this time we had 1,075 voters, which is almost double the last school election. We can all sit here and argue the fact that a lot more people than that should vote, and they should. We all know it. That's a fact. But to go from 600 voters to 1,075, I'm gonna call a big win. Not only did we pass this, we passed it at a phenomenal rate. The first proposition passed at 86.79%, which is again higher than the last bond. And the second passed at 87.16. Carr said I wasn't supposed to say this part tonight, but there were 142 people that voted no. So I have 142 people I need to win over, obviously. I don't know who you are, but if you wanna come talk to me, I will win you over. Those 142 people. We just wanted to get out there again. Thank you to the people sitting in this room. Thank you to you all for agreeing to this and to listening and to helping us plan for it. It took a village and we did it, and so that is super exciting. Now, everyone's like, now you can relax. Well, not really, now the hard part begins. So I hope, I have a bond kickoff meeting with the architect and the construction management team on October 1st or 2nd, and we're going to start working on priorities, timelines, those type of things. We'll be working on the list of things on the yearly allotment that we spend on the sites and their needs, on transportation. And we'd already been working on that 10-year plan, so we'll start deciding how we're going to spend each of those allotments. So it's super exciting. It's gonna take a lot of work, and I know we have the best people in place right now to make us, help us make that happen. But thank you, and thank you, and thank you that are watching on YouTube today. So that is.
I think we ought to shout out to the election board too.
I am so
They
sorry.
were
Tiffany
awesome.
Roselle and the election board they came and helped people register to vote.
Well, I know somebody who got to just drive up and they walked the ballot out,
Good.
and that was awesome. And Barbara Cook, love Barbara Cook, has to text how many people every day, and 222 people on early voting I thought was pretty good.
Yes,
For this,
amazing
so
number
that-
of early voters, lots of mail-in votes as well.
They were
There
good.
actually, absentee ballots, there were 38 absentee ballots, 220 before the election day, 817 on the election
That's
day.
good.
So they were very helpful, they kept us informed, they walked us through how to do everything exactly the way it was supposed to be done. And so, definite shout out to Tiffany Roselle and the election board.
And I want to make a shout out, I think all of us on the board want to make a shout out to Tanya
Yes.
and her team, who, you have put the face and reintroduced the face of Tahlequah Public Schools to the community. And the community knows us, and I know each of the people on your team are in different organizations. You all divided them up and have become involved in the community, and therefore the community has become a partner and they've become involved in the schools again. And back in the olden days, that happened more often and maybe just more naturally. But as life has gotten so fast and everyone, and so complicated in so many ways, I think all of us want to well, all of us as a board, when we were hiring a superintendent, the first thing we had on our list was to open up communication with the community. And I can't think that there is anyone who has ever done that with more energy and vigor than Tanya has, and we really appreciate it, so.
Made me smile. You had a good reason to smile today.
All right, anything
No, ma'am.
public to be heard?
No, ma'am.
Dr. Eversole. Item D, discussion and vote to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. And there's a correction on the agenda from August 29th, make that August 19, 2025 regular meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin?
All abstain.
And Ms. Crawford?
Aye.
E, Deputy Treasurer to report and discussion and vote to approve the monthly financial reports.
So the bank balance at the end of August, was $16,296,139.40. The receipts for general fund for the month of August were $2,844,403.59. Building fund was $16,120.75. Sinking fund was $76,497.42. That brings the general fund balance for the month of August to $7,473,949.78. Building fund is at $7,230,368.01. Bond funds, $382,578. Sinking fund, $156,630.54. Activity account, $1,120,729.61. Utilities. Electric was $2,145.62 less from last August to this August. Water was $1,210.11 less. And gas was $172.87 less.
Like the lessons.
Yes, all lessons.
Any discussion? While at the OSSBA conference, I've wandered into a session on geothermal heating and cooling, which I knew nothing. And I know a tiny bit more, but it seemed very interesting. I'm always trying to think of ways to combat the utility bills at Heritage. And so I asked a few questions and they suggested, they said, have you tried insulation? And so they realized my level of understanding, so they were going to get basics. But I think that's always something that we need to keep in and under consideration. Okay, so
I have a quick question. I know you gave us the estimate of needs. Is that just informational?
No, it's not until later.
Okay, it is on here. I thought it was, but then I
It's
couldn't.
H.
Oh, okay, right at the very top of the page. Okay, I thought it was on here that I didn't see it. Okay.
Yes.
I don't have any questions. I just wondered.
okay, any further discussion? Ms. Nemo? Oh, we
don't have
haven't
any
had a
motion.
motion, yes.
I moved to approve.
Second.
Now any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Cotton?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? Aye. And aye.
Lori, I don't think you ayed on the minutes, although I think you probably did.
Okay, I do approve the minutes. Aye. Thank you. Item F, Principal Director's Report. Mr. Martin?
All right, I have the dropout report, the graduation rate, and the college remediation information. So this is 2024-25 data. The first thing we'll go over is the dropout report. So when we go over these numbers, it's the 2025 cohort. So when we get to percentages, this is based on 1,336 as the denominator. So last year's seniors, we took the total number of freshmen and how many there were as sophomores, juniors, and seniors. That's how we get these numbers. So we have a total of 33 students that reported in this cohort as dropouts. And then the following corrections were removed from the final report. We had 0 students who re-entered at the same site, who left us and came back to THS. We had 0 students who re-entered at other sites of the district, such as Central. We had 11 students in this cohort that we got requests from other districts out of these 33. 7 of these 33 provided us evidence of passing their GED. We had 0 who entered homeschooling, 0 dropouts reported an error, and we had 0 who aged out at 19 before dropping. So the total is 33.
I have a quick question. On the
Yes, ma'am.
GED said that is that some database that when someone takes it, you get information, or do they actually have to report to you
I
that they
believe
have
they have to
taken and
report to
passed it?
us. Yes. So of those 11 that we got records requests from other districts, the 7 that we have that passed the GED, those are 18 corrections out of the 33 total dropouts. So those 18 were removed from the dropout report. We had a total final count of 15 dropouts. So they came from either the THS site or Central site. The next one, these are the same numbers by year. So you see, I feel like last year we started trending downward again. And you can see the jump, COVID and post-COVID. And I feel like we still deal with some vestiges of that just among student attendance. But it does feel like things are trending in the right direction. So for the actual percentage, without corrections, 33 dropouts, that would be a dropout rate of 2.47. If we take those 11 students that we got records requests on, but not the GED, we're at 1.64. And if we were to count the GED students, it would put us at 1.12 for a dropout rate for the 2025 cohort. The next portion is our graduation rate. So now this is just a snapshot of only last year. So, you know, numbers maybe overlap just a hair, but really not much. This is gonna be a little different comparison. So we had 328 seniors total enrolled last year. We had 10 withdraw to another school. We had 2 that did not graduate. Tried to get them to come to summer school. They couldn't make that.
That is like, they didn't have their credits and they didn't come get them, and so they finished school, but they didn't get a diploma.
That's correct. We had 10 that were 10-day drops. So those are kids that just didn't finish. They just quit coming. And then we had 2 enrolled in GED classes, and we do not know their status as of right now. So that's a total of 24 non-graduates, but like we have right there, 10 of those are enrolled or were enrolled in other schools. So last year, 2025, we had 304 seniors graduate at Tahlequah High School. That puts our graduation rate for last year at 92.7. And then our college remediation rate. This is the latest years we had available from the state, 2023. So these numbers are the 2023 high school graduates looking at the fall of their freshman year in 2023 at college. So the first line row going across are the numbers specific to Tahlequah High School. We had 0 students enrolled in remediation classes at college level in science. 4.7% of our 2023 graduates that went to college were in English remediation classes. 18.8 in math and 4.7 in reading. Then when you compare that to the other high schools in the county, they had 0 in science. But you can see we're quite a bit, about 50% better on English, quite a bit better in math and in reading.
Is Keys the only other high school?
Holbrook.
Okay.
And one thing, and I don't think Sequoia's numbers are
I was
clear
getting
in
ready
this.
to say,
They're not.
They're not.
And one thing too, which you all know, we put out a whole lot more graduates. So when we're dealing in percentages, it does get a little odd. But compared to the state, we barely missed the mark in English. Math is a little over a percentage point behind, and then reading we did better than the state of Oklahoma as far as 2023 graduates that had to enroll in a remedial class at the college level.
These are the ones who don't score high enough in that section of
In
the
the
ACT.
So what do we
I'm
do? Do we have a plan that we address that?
Yes, so what we have done, we have started an ACT prep class at the high school for juniors. We've got about 19, I believe, enrolled in that. We are encouraging all of our classes, requiring teachers to present bell work, test questions, formative, summative assessments in ACT format. Things like quizzes in math, time them. They might be 3 questions, but give them 4 minutes. You know, which they're reworking the ACT. We'll have a new ACT come spring. But what it's historically been is a problem minute. Usually if you can work that. So we're doing those things, wanting our teachers to put out, read this, answer these questions. It can be a 2-edged sword. We're lucky this day and age. It can be a little easy for us. We can go to AI and say, I need ACT style questions. I was a history teacher for U.S. history. Even though U.S. history is not the ACT, it will spit out questions. And then in typical AI fashion, you can read through it and make sure everything's correct. But yes, that is what we're doing, to try and get those schools in.
Do you have any insight on, I mean, if it's us, the county and the state, that science is so low, do we think that's because there's been a focus or because that part of the test is easier?
So I don't know why, I don't know that there is remedial science classes.
I don't think
Because everyone takes
Different science.
the different and you take the first level, whatever it is.
Yes,
Okay.
intro to biology, intro to physical science. I don't know,
Okay.
it literally, from the state, 0.6 state, so I don't know.
Some college might have it.
So there's not 0 level science classes in college. Well, maybe at one college there is. Okay.
And so we're gonna give the ACT to juniors in October. That test will have the science portion on there, but then after that, ACT is going to make it optional.
Really?
So much like the writing, it will be optional starting in the spring. So in the spring, when we give our juniors the ACT again, my understanding right now is we will not have a science.
Well, it really isn't a science test, it's a logic test.
Mhm.
So,
And it's short, 35 questions, it's one of the last ones unless you've got a field test on the ACT.
that makes sense. So when you take those junior scores and you see these kids are groups way down here, do we concentrate on them? Do we work with those kids or do we feel
they're not gonna go to college anyway. How do we address that?
Well, no, we would like to work with them. You know, one of the exciting things about having Otis, which is maybe getting off a little too far in the weeds, but we're gonna have that data for us to look at. And then it's going to be able to tell us what part of math we're low in, what part of reading or ELA we're low in. And we'll be able to concentrate on that, and give our teachers more of a focused effort. One of the bad things is, especially the tests in April, we won't have those results until after they're gone, and then they come back their senior year. Now, we'll still be able to hit in those areas.
I'm just wondering if you know this child is planning on going to college, and you could look at their scores and they're this low, if you could have a concentration and say, okay, call the counselor calling them in and saying, you're planning on going to college, you're not gonna make the mark because of this, we have this class for you.
Yes, that is the goal. We hope that ACT prep grows.
And that's not through a grant anymore, is it, the ACT prep? We've had it at different points.
Europe.
I believe it's geared up.
Europe
Still
is,
here.
So still. So you were asking basically remediation for those specific students.
right, I mean, if we've got a percentage that they're gonna have to take 0 level, and because in Benson, if you take this class and you get this up, then you don't have to take a class that you get no credit for and you gotta pay for.
You gotta
So I think bringing them into the counselor's office and sell that to them.
Yes.
Classes are expensive.
So we're gonna, in October, we'll give the ACT, the very next day, we turn around and give the pre-ACT to sophomores. So if we can ever.
Basically start there.
Exactly, and so I don't wanna put the cart before the horse, but at some point in the future, I'd like to look at giving the ACT every year. Ninth grade, then you can begin to really track. And when it gets time for those discussions, we know have a better idea and have been working on.
That program, I've run that ACT prep program, and it will concentrate on whatever area. If they're low in math, they can just work on math. If they're low in English, they can concentrate on English, so that we could focus them into the area that they have a need in.
Yes, and we have one instructor that's AIM certified. And here I am drawing a blank, but it's through ACT. It is a certification to
Was
teach.
it Underwood teaching it?
Yes, Mr. Underwood and then Mr. Pack will do the maths version, and he's either just went or he'll go this month. And then we'll be able to have those people instruct these kids that we need to bump scores up.
Good program. If they work at it, it's a good program.
And you've seen results in that when you
Yeah,
work with
I mean, if the
students.
kids focus
See
on it,
them.
they can pick their weak area and they can concentrate on it, and a lot of the kids would come into the class and say, I'm doing fine in this and this, but I really don't have my math score up. So then that's what they focus on in the class, they can pull that math score up and do the lessons.
It's very beneficial.
So we need to sell the course then
That's right.
to the kids, yes. Any other questions, Mr. Jordan? Well, I love it that we're tracking this information. For years, we really didn't know what students, how many kids ended up in remedial courses in college. And once they left us, they were gone and sort of washed our hands of them. So I'm really happy to see that, because our success is reflected by how well they perform when they leave us. So, okay. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
Item G, Superintendent's Report.
So I want to start with a shout out to Bryson. Today is his birthday.
Happy birthday.
So, hi Bryson and happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Everyone at the board meeting, he watches every month, asks a question about it every month. So, we'll celebrate next week at the advisory meeting. So we have 505 employees as of now. We have 3,595 kids enrolled, which is about 100 down from last year. We are, between the beginning of school last year and Child Count Day on October 1, it grew a little bit. We're very close to October 1, so I don't know if we're gonna rebound that, but I believe we were the only, I know we were the only place in Cherokee County that had, that the enrollment had increased last year. And so I think it's just dropped down a little bit, and more high school level than other levels, like pre-K is up, from where we were last year. The elementary schools are pretty static. It seems to be a high school, the numbers are trending in high school. So we have 177 pre-K students, 14 at Venture and 3 P3s, 449 at Cherokee, 483 at Greenwood, 487 at Heritage, 716 at Tahlequah Middle School, and 1,283 at THS and Central combined. We do have a few various spots for transfers at elementary and high school level, and those are always found on our website. Project updates, the armory is going well. The roof is almost complete. Demo is about 95% complete. HVAC is very close to being completed. They had to build a 2-hour firewall between the front portion, which was the big open portion before, and the hallway back into the auditorium, and that has been a big undertaking, but should be done hopefully by the end of tomorrow. They've been working on rewiring, on the plumbing's started for the new bathroom. Interior walls are being, I believe the term is furred out. So the outside of all the front is that they have not started the interior walls. I walked down there to look today, but no interior walls yet. Door frames are gonna be delivered next week, and then that framing and the wall rough-in will be what they really are working on in the next few weeks. They're also gonna start on exterior improvements, but possibly this weekend. They're doing tuck pointing, or they're going in and filling in where the rock has cracked and making sure that that is off. And they're going to clean the outside and a few other things that we'll do on the outside. They've removed the small awnings above all the front windows. We took those off. We're not going to replace those, but we will replace the large awnings. Those have already been ordered. And they will power wash the entire building and clean it all up. We'll have a new front door that needs to be replaced, so.
They still tell you you can put up the Christmas tree.
Well, yeah,
Outside.
I'm beginning
On
to
the
think maybe no,
sidewalk.
might be on the sidewalk. I hope we're still in there by the end of the year, but realistically, I'm not so sure. Maybe next month I'll have a lot better idea. On the bond, we talked a little bit about that, but we've got that kickoff meeting scheduled on October 2nd. We'll be working on timelines, architectural plans. We put a lot of work in some of the particular projects, but that's one set. They have 43 sets of blueprints that go to every level of something when you're building it. So now we'll get down in the weeds on all of the things. As we look at the different projects we'll be working on, we'll be putting everybody at the table that needs to be at the table. When we're talking about Sequoia, we're gonna make sure that Misty's at the table saying, and representatives from her building, these are the things that we think that we need. When we're looking at hallway renovations and the awnings, the different things that are going on at the middle school and high school. We will make sure who this is going to affect on a daily basis. It's at the table with us making good decisions for all of those places. So that's an exciting part of that. And again, we'll also start formalizing those lists of yearly purchases for site needs and transportation. And there again, we will look at that from a district-wide standpoint. $250,000 is not a lot of money when you're dividing it between 7 sites. But when we have a yearly allotment of something like that, we'll look to see, okay, if this is furniture replacement, we probably don't want to do all of Greenwood at one year, then move to the next. But do we do a kindergarten? what kindergarten needs across, and then do we work on first grade the following year, pick up a sixth or seventh, so we're gonna have to really look at what needs to be done first and then have that schedule out for the next decade or longer. So that,
I'll
you
be
know,
waving from heaven.
yeah, oh, you might not be sitting here in 10 years, but you'll still be watching, and Carr's gonna love that I'm gonna have a 10-year calendar, cause he gets mad when I have a 2-year calendar. He wasn't even in the room for me to make comments. So, lots of planning, but it's exciting, and again, we're just thankful that we get to do it, so. I'm just talking about you, Carr, you walked back in the room. I just got back from the National Association of Federally Impacted Schools Conference. Nikki Malloy and I attended that the last few days. We're there to advocate for our impact aid funding, a program that was established in 1950 that provides direct federal funding assistance to school districts, lose local tax revenue due to the presence of federal land and other entities. So it is being in the capital of the Cherokee Nation, it's something that it's a pot of money that comes to us to help offset the cost of that. It's very important to our district. It's also funding that comes to a district with the least amount of strings than any other pot of money that you receive. So we, with OASIS, which is the Oklahoma Association Serving Impacted Schools Group, met with 7 congressional offices in the last couple days. We did a couple days of training with people from all over the United States. And we received $581,000 in impact aid last year. That fluctuates a little bit from year to year, but it is a large part of money for us that we particularly put in building fund. That way we can do whatever we need to do with that. So it can help us with projects, but it can help us with the insurance, it can help us pay the bills, it can help us, we pay for SROs out of our general fund, but those are hundreds of thousands of dollars that we might not be able to afford if we didn't have something like that was helping us pay the light bill. So it's a matter of leveraging it where you need it, but it is a very valuable pot of money to our district. And every year, that group goes twice a year actually, and it's something that I'll want to attend yearly. I don't know that I'll be able to go both times a year like a lot of them do, but I think once a year, it's definitely worth my time and our investment and going and talking about our story and why that's important to our kids. It's a program that's not even, it's funded very low. If it was fully funded, we would get millions and millions of dollars. Obviously, we would love and we advocate for that, but we just advocate to at least keep it in small bumps. And so the people we got to speak to are supportive. We live in an area that is very supportive. We have more districts in the nation than any other state. Not necessarily the most amount of money, because some states get more money than us, but we do have the most districts that do receive impact aid. So it was a very good conference, my first, and I look forward to returning in the near future. This month, we typically do assessment for you guys our scores from last spring, but we're still waiting on them. So we are hoping that we will have finalized assessment scores to give to you all in October. But I see someone out there, they're like, yeah, it's not good. I think every one of them are shaking their head like, yeah.
So is that because, the individual scores came out and they're usually after, so is it because they're still looking at those?
I think the cut score
rates
changed. I think
Change back? Or-
change in, yes, basically went back to year before. Last year we saw that big jump, and now they're going back to what we compared to the year before, but we don't have any final scores. Next month, if we don't have final scores, we'll just start working, and they already are working with the data, but we will go ahead and present the preliminary scores because we don't know when we're going to get the others. And we want to give the goals, we want to set the whole year up, but it's very behind at this point.
So we would want to compare our data this year to not last year's, but the year
Yes.
before.
Yes.
Are they providing, because I thought they said when we heard that they were using those old scores, that there would be something to use to show
I believe there is going to be some type of conversion, something that will
So
help us
you
do
can
that.
say if we hadn't changed the scores
Yes.
back, then it still would have looked like that.
Yes. And each of the principals have been through that. I mean, they've been through what the preliminary looks like, what that compares to last year, which really doesn't compare to last year, and how that compares to the year before, which is the best comparison we have. We're just ready for it to be static, so we really can see apples to apples how what we're doing is changing performance. And we've not been able to do that for a few years now, so and now we know there's the whole conversation about no tests, so everything is really up in the air. But we're doing, with the information they have, they are working diligently to see where kids are and move them from there in the positive direction. So hope to have that, we'll have something for you. It might not be what we normally would, but we will have something
They're
for
still
you
good.
next month. Yes, yes. We have other information that we can look at, and if that is what we feel is most valuable,
Yes.
we'll show you that.
We were certainly joyful last year.
Yes.
We got- That was a moment of exhilaration.
On child nutrition, I just have a little bit of information I will share on that. We'll just focus on August, and they served 49,119 meals in 12 serving days. And when we look at what we paid and what we have out, and we're gonna be in the negative, this month, about 11 grand. Lacey's got the sideways look when I look at her.
Do better next month.
She'll do better.
Got that commodity truck coming
Yeah.
next month.
And as we saw last year, that fluctuates from month to month. We all know that we did end in the red. We're working with the child nutrition company. Numbers I believe are trending up already. There was some information here, say for example on that. When you look at, Lacey gave me some information for breakfast, lunch, and supper at every one of the buildings. And when you compare, say, breakfast at Cherokee, it went from 32% eating breakfast in 23-24 to 36 to 45 when you're looking at the August. So that increased, their lunch increased, their supper increased. At Greenwood, they went from 34 to 52 in those 3-year span. They went from 56 to 75. Sequoia, 47 to 65. Their lunch is down a little bit from 23-24 and from last year. That just means probably there are more kids that are bringing their lunch. So we'll continue to work with those families and let them understand that they don't have to put that investment in that they can come in and eat for free. Heritage increased in breakfast and in supper. That lunch is a little bit down from last year as well right now. Middle has increased in breakfast, in lunch, and in the supper program. And high school, this is amazing. I'm looking at the statistic right now. Last year, number of students eating in 24-25 was less than 1% in breakfast.
At the beginning.
And
That was
in the
before.
first month, and this month 16% of them were getting a breakfast. So increases there as well. So meeting with them, Lacey's doing a phenomenal job of working with Chartwell and Heidi and the team here, talking to principals, put something out to all of our district today, just to get that word out about that program. We just want to keep it affordable because we know that it is important and something we want to invest in. The last thing I have for you, upcoming dates. Just a reminder to everyone, September 26th is PD Day, so that's no school for students. On October 2nd, we have the OSSBA Zone 8 meeting. On October 10th, we have homecoming, which obviously always has a fun day, parade downtown, lots of festivities, football, and celebrations. On October 13th through the 17th is fall break. We have the Chamber State of Education event that you guys typically attend if you're available on October 23rd. during the day at NSU. And the Chamber of Commerce annual banquet is November 13th. And I will put an email out with these dates to you and see which of these events you can or would like to attend so we can plan for those events. And that is all I have for today.
Item 8, discussion and vote to approve the estimate of needs for the 2025-26 fiscal year.
Alright, so I gave all of you your little handout with all the good information, and then Robert's gonna do the PowerPoint. So, if you look at, Exhibit A, Schedule 2 shows our revenue for 24-25 was $50,066,296.58. Our expenditures for 24-25 were $42,159,007.04. And that brought our carryover to the $7,907,289.54. That was the highest carryover that we have had in 11 years.
That's great.
Which is great. So, just a little explanation on the revenues. So your local sources, which is your ad valorem tax, we over collected on that, $931,000, 80 cents, $80.30. Then the intermediate sources, which is your county ad valorem tax, was $46,667.99. Your state sources, which is your motor vehicle tax, your rural electric tax, and your vehicle tax, we over collected $2,064,945.06. And then our federal sources, we over collected $1,906,583.69. So that's where we get the large carryovers. So we're gonna move on to building fund. So building fund, you'll see it says, Exhibit C, Schedule 6, shows our building fund carryover at $7,257,867.27. Our building fund appropriation for FY 25-26 is gonna be $7,932,817.44. We grew our building fund carryover by $2,481,000, or $2,481,730, and I stole Jack that. 36 cents. So many numbers. This is the highest carryover we've had in 15 years. So here's information on the budget, which next month I'll do the full blown budget. So our allocation for FY 25-26, we are going to be budgeting $49,251,786.19. So next month I'll break that down and show you where we plan to spend on every little pot. So our areas of focus for this year is general fund with the loss of a few competitive grants. We want to make sure we can still provide the academic services that we have provided in the past. So every time we get a new grant, past when we do our estimate needs, that amount just adds. We can do an appropriation and add it to the pot. We don't have to, then we don't have to. With uncertainty with title funds next year, we also want to make sure we can continue the academic services we are already providing. Once again, we don't want to have to cut anything that our students are doing. Building fund, our focus last year was to grow the building fund for a large project. Unknowingly, the Armory project fell into our laps, and now we have the funds to remodel it. With the passing of the new bond, we want to make sure the building fund is capable to pay any needed expenses required outside of the bond monies. So on the bond that we just are finishing, interest rates were really high, so we were getting a lot of interest off of that money that we had. Well, if interest rates, we're noticing that they're starting to drop, so that would affect the amount of money that we would have also. Summary is I will create a budget that will allow us to have between the $6 to $6.5 million carryover. We started at $5 million, but we've decided that We're more comfortable probably at 6 to 6.5, just with the unknown that we continue to see. And make sure that we can continue providing the students with quality services.
Before we have any discussion, may I have a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
Second.
Now,
You guys just sit down.
don't worry about it, now does anyone have any questions?
What does over collected
That's
mean?
what I,
So over collected is like some of those pots of money we don't have control over, it's just how they collect the money, like through the taxes and stuff, so that's all based on.
So we didn't have to pay anybody back anything?
No, no.
It's more than what we budgeted,
Right,
what we
exactly.
estimated.
What we estimated that
So
we were
that's
gonna
why it makes our
collect.
carryover
Ah,
higher.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to
I was a
know.
little nervous
Give
at
me
first.
ten.
So like even on this estimate of needs, I mean, she works with the treasurer, they give us the information, we do our best, they give their best guess. And then last year, there were 2 or 3
We
pots of
got
money
extra
that they
money, wow.
actually collected a lot more than we thought they would, which is why at the very end of the year, our carryover was so much more than we thought. Because we knew we had grown it, and that was purposeful with some of the things that we knew were going on. But it was a little bit higher than we even thought because of the over collections when the entire year was
Cool,
balanced.
that's great.
There is OSFBA sends out, it's not hard to, or it's hard to find because it's like in links in one of the, 13 emails that you get a day from them. But they do, is it quarterly, like the state does quarterly reporting on collections of those, of motor fuel tax. And because they base their state budgets on that too, so they tell you how well it is performing above or below what they budgeted or what they estimated for the year. And it doesn't mean anything because it's statewide numbers, but if it's up, then it's up for everybody, so you can kind of tell.
Yeah, Vernon Florence.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell when it's trending that way. But in tight years, they tend to estimate they're gonna get more than they actually do, so they can have bigger budgets, so then you see those.
And the other thing that
Less
helped us
than.
last year was we had more students, so our midterm adjustment was up also.
And this year, obviously 100 students down, it will decrease the amount that we got from
But we
last year.
can't really tie an amount to that, cause we don't know what kids we lost, we don't know what the weights are that we actually lost to actually turn that into a dollar amount at this point, it's just kind of,
But after October 1, we will be able to
yeah,
do
be
that.
able to
We'll
determine.
sit down, there's a formula, we work with someone that walks us through every one of our weighted kids, it lets us have a very strong projection of what that will be. We know exactly what our weights will be, what we don't always know is the factor.
Right.
COSA is usually pretty spot on with what they think it's going to be, but we will be able, after October 1, be able to look at all of this. And when we talk about kids are weighted differently. Whether, if they're gifted and talented or they have special needs, or if they're a kindergarten student compared to a 4th grade student or a pre-K student, they're all weighted differently against the factor.
it's the formula, so the state gives us more money on some
Yes,
Yes,
students than
Yes.
others.
yes.
If they're weighted at a higher.
yes, and it kind of makes no sense, but
Okay.
we just,
They tell you what the numbers are and you plug yours in.
it's a very intense day of math.
It really is.
Paper and pencil for like, I don't know, almost all day, of just figuring numbers and weights and all of those.
Something I'm so proud of is that we have placed focus on our carryover, because that's our social security, that's our money in the bank that should certain things not
Right.
come through that we think might be coming through, then we have a way to maintain and keep our district functioning. But I don't ever recall before having a concerted plan toward developing and increasing the carryover, and really pleased and happy that you all have instituted that. It's important.
Yeah, it is, yeah. we don't want to have unpayable warrants over. So,
No.
make sure of that. Any more questions?
Anyone else? Okay, I think we are ready to vote, is that correct? Ms. Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Aye. Mrs. Crawford, and aye. Item I, discussion and vote to approve the following surplus 1 through 5. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Very good.
And even it out.
Any discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffey?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford?
Aye.
And aye. J, business items, consent docket vote to approve the following. This is 1 through 4. This involves contracts, fundraisers, and trips out of state, overnight, lease and purchase, and financial obligations, 1 through 4. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Nemo? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item K, discussion and vote to approve the social studies textbook committee for the 2025-26 school year. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Any discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffey? Aye. Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item L, board to consider and take action on a resolution determining the maturities of and setting a date, time, and place for the sale of the $1,105,000 general obligation combined purpose bonds of the school district.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. So this is our first round of new money from the bond. This general obligation bond would be the money that we would receive in December. We have a special board meeting, we're setting a special board meeting, I guess with this on October 7th to sell those bonds. Then what happens, the Attorney General has 30 days to look at that approval, and then it basically approves the entire election, gets the ball rolling for all of the other bonds that will be sold and prepared for us to get money to start working on projects. So we do have a special board meeting set for October 7th at noon, I believe. And again, this would be, this 1.1 million is the first round of money that we received in December.
I teach, so I won't be there.
Okay.
But we will have a quorum.
I believe that, yes,
Okay.
when I checked that day, we should be able to have one.
Okay.
Should be a very short meeting. McDonald's and Associates will come that day and present them. And it will be the only thing that we will put on that agenda.
Is that the one where we get the bids?
Yes,
Or like from the other?
From the base.
Yeah, look at the rates that they.
And at that point, this determines the money that we get following this. We have a schedule, don't we, of when money is
Yes.
released?
Yes, this is the first amount, and then once this ball starts rolling, it opens the door for them to start working on the lease revenue bonds. And so then we would have another same type of thing on a regular board meeting, then we'd have a special board meeting to open those. I hope by March the latest, we should be ready for that. I hope that we can do that a little bit earlier, because the earlier we can do it, the sooner we can get the projects. Set.
And all of the money.
Yes, yeah, and then we would know specific amounts. When we first ran amounts in January of last year, it was a particular amount of money for projects, and then remember, it tanked. Well, right now it's back up a little bit, and so we want to get this done rather quickly because right now would be a good time to start setting those things rather than, like it was a couple months ago. It plays in our favor.
Any further discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Cobb? Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item M, discussion and vote to approve the revision review of the following policies. Into 6025 and 6065. So we have student transfer and then a medication policy. Do I hear
Move to approve.
Second.
any discussion?
I
kind of, I'm sorry.
I had a quick question, I meant to ask this before and I just forgot, and the medication for the EpiPens, is that only for students who have them and provide them, or do we have them on site in the event that there is a reaction?
We do not carry.
So when I couldn't really tell by reading that, because it said they wouldn't be administered unless there was a release, and I'm like, well, do all students sign a release? But these are kids who know they have allergies, they bring in an EpiPen to be kept at the school, I
Yes.
guess, as well as one other person probably,
Yes.
and, okay.
And it was just a little bit of an edit that was required for accreditation. And then the other policy, student transfer, is what we do we've done it quite often recently, but we always do it this time, so we wanted to make sure and get on our appropriate schedule from now on for the rest of the year, for the end of this first quarter.
I would think it would be rather difficult if they didn't have the signed release, even if they didn't, to not administer. I mean, that, you have to call 911.
Yes, that was a change in the law this year, that even, you have to call 911 even if the parent is there or knows. I mean, there's a very particular
Okay.
set of steps, and that was a law passed this year.
Wow.
Any other discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Cobb? Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item N, discussion and vote to approve the following meal prices for the 2025-26 school year.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And have these gone up? Any discussion?
Lacey, they have gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know off the top of your head exactly what the change is?
The price of the lunch went
Yes.
up 25
25
cents
cents, okay.
and breakfast went up 50 cents. And we didn't choose that, the state tells you basically what it's
They're
going to
still
be.
good prices.
So this is
Yes.
only adults, guests, second servings, right?
Correct, that's correct, yes.
Any further discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Cobb?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? Aye. And aye. Item O, discussion and vote to approve the schedule of encumbrances. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coughlin?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford?
Aye.
And aye. Item P, discussion and vote to approve changes to the following job description. And it's a description of a mentor teacher. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
You want to speak to the changes that were made? Mentor teacher?
Dan?
We had that mentor teacher job, we have had that mentor teacher job description way back, and the state used to, when they told us at the state, you have to pair teachers with a mentor, they made us go through a state training and all this, so all of that was in there, so we had to get rid of that. And then we had talked with negotiations and at least wanted a minimum of 2 hours a week. And they do spend a lot more time than that. So we just put some specific things in there so it would be in writing. Those were kind of taking out some of that went with the old and just putting in a requirement. I don't have it in front of me, I wish I did.
And the teacher doesn't have to be same discipline,
Doesn't have to
subject
be.
matter.
We left that in there,
Okay.
right, they can be, and a lot of times that's the first thing that you do, but, they don't have to be. And And a lot of times, it's whoever is working with them the closest, you know what I'm saying? So it has those qualifications, it tells the number of years, just all of that, we needed that cleaned up.
Anything else? Mrs. Lino?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman? Mrs. Crawford? And I. You motion and vote to approve the personnel items 1 through 3 with Ms. Lino, you'll make the motion.
Move to approve item Q 1 through 3 with the inclusion of the following: Whitney Creedmoor, PT Para Sub, the Charles Harris, Special Care Para, Taylor Cochran, Special Care Para, Desiree Wood, PT Para Sub, Maggie Calcote, Teacher Pending Certification, Brittany Yates, PT Para Sub, and Haley Weaver, PT Para Sub.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I have a question, not related to those names are good, but did we have to send letters? Because I saw that some schools, because of the state board meeting that was canceled, that there's some requirement that if you're, because they didn't get certifications approved, that they had to send out letters
That
saying
there
their
weren't a
child has been
qualified.
more than 30 days taught by someone.
Yes, we send them out.
We did, okay. I didn't know that was a thing, and I saw a news article about it where I guess some schools had to send out lots and lots of them.
We have not had so many, we pretty much have certified teachers in most areas now, don't
We do, we pretty much have provisional teachers, which means they were coming the alternative path or a para path, but we still have 20 emergency certified teachers that maybe have moved. We have 17 teachers that are adjunct in some way.
But we had some that were that would have been up on that meeting that was canceled, and because it was canceled, we had to do some extra legwork there.
Any further discussion? Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin? Aye. Mrs. Crawford? And I. Item R, any new business? Item S, we are adjourned.
Hey.